Hey, so let me guess. You're thinking about moving to Vancouver, British Columbia, and you want to know what the worst neighborhoods are in the area? Well, I got you covered. All right, today I'm gonna be showing you the top neighborhoods that are the worst in all of Vancouver, British Columbia. So these are the neighborhoods that you want to really think about not moving to when moving out to this, beautiful city. Right there are a bunch of amazing neighborhoods and amazing communities in this area, but these 4 communities and neighborhoods are like the 4 areas that I would suggest you not move when living in this amazing city. So one thing I was going to say is stay tuned for the rest of our video and make sure you stay to the end, because at the end I'm going to be telling you the worst neighborhood, and you're going to want to make sure you don't stay there when you're moving out here, guys. All right, so stay tuned for the rest of the video. Hey guys, Marin Sangier here with Prestige Property Group, and me and my team are actually a team of local realtors out here in Vancouver, British Columbia, and we absolutely love nothing more than helping people that are either moving out to Vancouver or living out here in the surrounding cities, helping answer some of their questions, just help them in regards to buying or selling real estate, guys. So first things first, in the description box down below and in the comment section down below on the pinned comment is my number, so that you can either text, give me a call whenever you have any questions or need any help, or there's also my email so that you can always just shoot over an email if that works a little bit better for you guys, right? And then just another thing, hit that button down below and hit that notification button and that subscribe button, so that this way every week when we do keep putting new videos out, you guys are the first people to see them, right? So just so at least you guys do know, this channel is just everything about eating, sleeping, living, and playing in Vancouver and the surrounding suburbs. So that's the main reason why you want to subscribe to this channel, so that you're always staying informed with everything that's going on in the area, guys. So let's get on to the video. Okay, guys. Now let's start with the first neighborhood that I'd suggest that you guys not live is Marpole / like South Vancouver, right? So the Marpole neighborhood, like just South Vancouver in general, is a little bit different than the actual downtown core. So you don't have as much easy accessibility to like SkyTrain services. So you are going to have to drive to the closest SkyTrain service, right? So that could be, depending on where you live, it could be a 10 to 15 minute drive from even your house, right? Just to get on the SkyTrain that ultimately leads you to the rest of the downtown core and the surrounding areas of downtown Vancouver. So that's like one of the main cons that I would suggest about Marpole. And then even taking that a step further, like there are a lot of coffee shops and stores in the area, but like things are a little bit farther than what they normally are, let's say if you're in the downtown core, and in most of the other areas of Vancouver too, like Kitsilano, Mount Pleasant, even like North Vancouver. Even though North Vancouver, most of the areas are kind of like suburby, there are a ton of things to do, a ton of amenities like shops, restaurants, eateries and stuff in the area. So it is kind of that's the reason why I would say that is a little bit better than Marpole. But like in Marpole, what you'll kind of see is like there's more of a big Indo-Canadian community and like a Chinese Korean community, right? And like a good amount of like Filipino people there and stuff too. So that's kind of what you'll see in Marpole and South Vancouver. But like just one of the main issues is just that, right? Like there's always gridlock. There's mostly like industrial and commercial complexes and buildings and stuff like that are in that area, like Marpole, South Vancouver. So it's kind of just more like the industrial area, and it is kind of an actual neighborhood and stuff too. But those neighborhoods and stuff, it's a little bit different than what the rest of normal Vancouver is, just based off the fact that everything's not as close as it tends to be, in the other areas of Vancouver, right? So now, taking that to like the next place I'd suggest that you not live when moving out here is East Vancouver, right? So East Vancouver is, it's one of the, like, people like to say it's one of the more like sketchier places here, just based off the fact that, there are a lot of like, you do tend to see a lot more like homeless people and like drug addicts and stuff in East Vancouver. Ultimately, it depends like where in East Van you're living, but like majority of the areas you do tend to see like that type of stuff. So that's like kind of one of the main reasons why people do have like a bad way of thinking. Like when you say West Vancouver and Vancouver, people will tend to be like, all right, well that's kind of like the posh rich area. And when you say East Vancouver, they tend to think of like more poor and low income housing, right? It's a little unfortunate, but like that's kind of just what people think, right? So that at least in itself just gives you an idea of what people in the surrounding areas and the communities think about East Vancouver. But the one good thing about East Van is like SkyTrain accesses are close to there. But then again, the biggest cons are just coming down to to that, right? Because you still are paying as much as you would normally pay living in South Vancouver, West Vancouver, like essentially anywhere in Vancouver. But the difference is like now, as opposed to you being in like, even though South Vancouver I have higher up on the list, it's like it's at least a little bit more safe living like South Van, West Van, downtown Vancouver, North Vancouver, as opposed to like East Vancouver when the evenings come. It's just a little tough because you do tend to see a lot of people complain about like the homeless and drug addicts and stuff in the area. And then sometimes you do kind of get into it with some of those people when like they are having a bad day. And yeah, so it's just not really a great situation to put yourself in. So if you're living in East Vancouver, make sure you really do your homework on which area and which neighborhood you're moving to in East Van, because certain areas of East Vancouver are like nice and not as, difficult to live in. But, some of them are like, if you're moving closer to East Hastings or living closer to the downtown east side, you're gonna end up essentially seeing more and more homeless people. But the farther you're kind of going out towards the more edges of East Vancouver, the more you're kind of getting away from that, right? Okay, so now let's go on to the third area that I'd suggest is, this one's a little bit smaller of technically like a neighborhood. It's called like the Knight Street area or the Knight neighborhood in Vancouver. And so the one pain I would say about this area is it's a little bit smaller than like Marpole and like all of South Vancouver and East Van. But the one biggest issue is it's literally located in the surrounding areas of Knight Street, right? So for some of you guys and most of you guys that don't know what Knight Street is, it's literally one of the most busiest streets in Vancouver. So it's always jam-packed with, well, not always jam-packed, but it's normally packed with like gridlock and tons of traffic and cars and stuff like that. So one of the main pains I'd say about that area is the biggest pain comes down to the fact of like, if your house is located there, you're gonna hear tons of like cars honking, cars driving by, there's always vehicles. It's just loud, right? Like that's like the best way for me to explain it, right? You're gonna hear like big trucks driving through there, like big rigs and stuff like that. Like it becomes kind of a pain. They're always doing some sort of like road work in that area. It's like there's that always going on. So like long story short, essentially what you notice about Knight Street is, SkyTrain services aren't located close by. All the amenities aren't located as close by as they are in all the rest of the areas of Vancouver. And then lastly, it's like, it's so loud there, right? Like if you're living, the closer you're living to Knight Street, the more of a pain it's going to be. But if you're living out towards like the edges of the Knight neighborhood, then it's going to be a little bit better because of, again, just so at least you guys do know, no area in Vancouver is actually like the worst area or bad, because all of Vancouver is beautiful, right? But ultimately, like when I'm telling you about these neighborhoods, it just comes down to the fact of, if you're asking me and if you're asking most people in this area, these are probably like 4 top areas that they would suggest, look at some other places first, and if you really find something you like in those areas and you like that community, then live in it, right? But like that's kind of the same thing I say with Knight Street. And then even taking that a step further, there are a lot of condos and stuff there, but like, well, there's not that many condos there. They're making more now, but like there's not a lot of condos there, and there's like far and few in between townhouses and stuff too. So it's mostly just detached homes, right? So if you can afford that, again, like I've told you in my previous videos, that's going to run you about like 1.5 to like 1.7. You can maybe even find something for about 1.4 million, a detached home. But again, it's going to be hard finding something that's turnkey and you're not going to have to do any renovations to it. And then lastly, like the absolute worst neighborhood I would suggest, the worst area of living in Vancouver is East Hastings and the downtown east side. So just before we start on it, like East Hastings has actually been named the most dangerous street in all of North America for a while now, right? I think it's been going on for like a decade plus. So one of the main reasons for that is like there's tons of homeless people there, drug addicts, crime and stuff like that tends to go on in that area. And that's why when you're going down to East Hastings, you're gonna see tons of that, right? You're gonna see people walking in the streets, not even really noticing that you're driving your car, even if you're about to hit them, because, for whatever reason, whether they're on drugs or they're kind of just in their own world, they're not paying attention to any of that stuff. So when you go down that street, like it's sad and it kind of sucks, right? You see people like that are just hungry and down on their luck, homeless, drug addicts, like just all different types of walks of life that are just kind of down on their luck. You see that, right? And like, that's why if you're asking me, it's probably the worst area to live. Even though the people there aren't as dangerous as it would seem like when you're driving by the community, it's still just not a great place to be, because you will run into some random people that will try to start like a fight with you or try to start something with you, right? Because of, whether they're on drugs or they're just having a bad day, like it's unfortunately you will run into situations like that. But the majority of the time, like the people there are nice, but it's just more or less not wanting to live in an area like that. If you have like a young family or even an older family, it's like you're trying to walk around and commute through the rest of the downtown core and the surrounding areas, and it becomes kind of a problem when you have so many like homeless people and so many people kind of like coming up to you, and yeah, it just makes you uncomfortable, right? Like, long story short, like in the evenings, you don't want to have someone that seems like they're kind of on drugs walking up to you and trying to like because they're not just trying to start a conversation. Sometimes they are, you know, I'm trying to pick my words here, you know, choose my words nicely, but it's like, you know, they sometimes do ask you odd questions or keep harassing you for money or stuff like that, right? And I'm always happy to help, but it's like sometimes there's only so much we kind of do, right? Ultimately, it comes down to all of us kind of helping those people out in the end. But yeah, that's like one of the toughest situations about living in the downtown east side and the downtown core of the east side is that, right? They have a big homeless problem. They even have like a tent community at one of the local parks there in the area where there's just all tents set up and just tons of homeless people because, again, the cost of living here is just so high and some people just can't afford that, right? Or they're down on the luck or whatever. So like, that's one of the main reasons I would suggest is like the worst area, like a big no-no. Like the other three you could probably move to and still make the best of the situation. But like when you're living in the downtown core, the downtown east side, like it is really difficult. Like make sure you're living farther away from East Hastings, because this way you're not going to be putting yourself in a position where, you know, as soon as you're leaving your home, you know, you're just seeing homeless people, drug addicts, people like ODing and stuff like that. Like it's just honestly just a terrible situation to be in, and you just feel so bad for all the people there, right? So like that's ultimately what it comes down to. So hopefully this video was helpful, and again, it's giving you an idea of like where you shouldn't live when moving to this amazing city, right? So there's tons of places to live in this area. Vancouver in general is a beautiful city, so there's no area that I would suggest that you not move. It's just areas that I would suggest like do your homework on it and do your research on it first, and at least, you know, with this video too, you guys got tips of where you should and possibly shouldn't move in the future when you're looking to move out here, right? Or even if you live in Vancouver, the surrounding areas, just relocating around. So thanks for watching my video, guys. What I was gonna say is hit that button down below again, that subscribe button and that notification button, so that every week, whenever we do put out new videos, you guys are the first people to see them. Again, in the description box down below and in the pinned comment down below is my phone number, so you can give me a call or a text whenever you have any questions or need like absolutely any help whatsoever. And then it's also my email address too, so you could always just shoot over an email if that works a little bit better for you guys, right? So again, we always make sure to put out a video minimum one every week on a Friday, and then I'm gonna start trying to put out 2 a week if I can, right? I'm gonna make sure to stay to my word and do that too, and just continue to keep watching my videos, supporting this page. Like the video down below too, and then also in the comment section down below, if you live in Vancouver, let us know what you think are the worst areas and worst communities that you believe. Maybe it's something different, right, from the ones that I picked. And if you're looking to move out here so far, you know, in the comment section down below, let us know what, you know, you think so far, or what you've heard so far are the worst areas and areas that you feel are like big no-nos where you're not going to want to live when moving out to the city. So let us know that, and then next time guys, I'll just see you in the next video.